skies and neon nights, controllers lit like fireflies. Old freaky gamer in the zone, level up the unknown. Game talk news, it's all a thrill, conquering worlds with skill on skill. Game on, game hard, streaming stars were never far. Game on, game hard, in this conquest we're avatars.
Yeah, folks, welcome. This is the GamezAttack podcast, episode number 80. Yeah, the big 80. This is our world. Yes. This is a weird title. I'm just looking at this now when I wrote this. I must have been a little high or something, or really tired. This is Outer Our Worlds. This is our Outer Worlds. This is Outer Our Worlds. I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know. I was thinking something when I said, oh, this is going to be a perfect title for the podcast. Oh, well, too late. I already have it all in the books, folks. So this is the GamezAttack podcast, a podcast about video games and the gaming industry and everything else and what I've played in the past week and stuff that I buy, and mostly all gaming related in general. And I'm still looking at the title. This is Outer Our Worlds. I think I was doing it as a pun. Like, it was a weird pun. I don't know where it came from. My brain is weird. I know. Forgive me, folks, for if you don't like the title. But as you can tell from the title, I have been playing a little bit of the Outer Worlds 2. Been playing a hell of a lot more Mortal Kombat. Hold on. I've been playing a hell of a lot more of Mortal Kombat! What was I playing? Mortal Kombat! Yes, I was playing a bunch more Mortal Kombat than the Outer Worlds 2, but I am going to pick up and play some more Outer Worlds 2. I really do like the Mortal Kombat Legacy Kollection, even though I still think there needs to be some tuning up and some other stuff going on, but otherwise it's a solid package of the original Mortal Kombat series in there with a nice documentary to boot. Got to watch more of that documentary. It is a good, solid Mortal Kombat documentary. It was very well made and very solid to watch. And it's all included with the games and all the extra stuff and artwork and all that, and music. Oh my God, you get a nice soundtracks of all the video Mortal Kombat games and stuff, and you can change it up inside there. It's a really good package for $50. You can't go wrong. I got mine a little cheaper. I think it was like $40 or something because I pre-ordered it early, so I got it a little cheaper than $50. But $50 not bad for Mortal Kombat Legacy Kollection. I'll talk more about that. So we'll pick this podcast up with the Outer Worlds 2. Oh, actually, first, if you didn't change your clock back yesterday, then you're basically an hour early. Yes. The clocks went back an hour. I didn't even know they were changing back an hour until a certain somebody was like, hey, you didn't know the clocks changed back an hour early? I'm like, oh, daylight savings time came or went bye-bye already? I don't even know what it is. Daylight savings means going back, right? And then daylight saving. First off, it's daylight saving time. People like me say savings, but saving time, which sounds worse than savings. But we rolled back an hour. And then later, after winter, at the end of winter, we rolled back forward an hour, which is really stupid. But I didn't know that was happening yesterday. As you're watching this today, I'm recording this yesterday, a day before. So, didn't know that the clocks were changing back. I didn't look at usually I look at my, whatchamacallit, my phone and stuff. And I usually tell when it tells me in my calendar or something scheduled, oh, your clocks are rolling back. But it doesn't really matter. It's the weekend. It doesn't matter to me. I don't care. It's another day. I get an extra hour. Great. Uh, but yeah, talking about the Outer Worlds 2, might as well. I know this is one of those games that I played in the past week, but we'll talk about this now. We'll kick it off. It is a game. It is a very decent game. Yes, yes. It is a game by Obsidian Entertainment. You should know them for many of their titles that they worked on, like Fallout New Vegas back in the day. They worked on the Outer Worlds 1, of course. They made that. They designed that. Avowed. Anybody? Very good game. I played and beat that game. I really, really, really liked Avowed a lot. And basically, it makes it... The Outer Worlds is like, oh, yeah, it's like their Starfield game. I fell off of the Outer Worlds one because it just got too blah during the middle part of the game. I heard a lot of other people did the same. I was not the only person in that boat where I fell off of that game midway through the game because I felt like it was just getting not just too difficult, but it just went somewhere and I just got really bored. And then I just said, I'm done with the Outer Worlds one. And I think I paid for that one. Did I pay for that one? Or was it one of those original, was it on Game Pass back in the day as well? Or did I buy that? I forget. Maybe it was one of those early Game Pass games that I actually got Game Pass for to play it. But I don't remember. It's been a little while since that game. I had to have purchased a game or something. I'll have to check my records, but yeah, I did not care for the Outer Worlds 1. And then Starfield came on and I'm like, "Oh, this is cool," even though, it needed some work and I did mod it up a little bit, so it made it even better. Outer Worlds 2, so far it is a decent game. I haven't played too far into the game yet. I'm still, early on, but what I've played early on, and mind you, I am going to be doing some modding to this game as well because it lets you, modding console inputs, should I say, as well. It's modding and console inputs. It's like I have to enable the console, and then I modded, I add the little things, the console commands, and I can do some stuff like I added some more money and stuff. I'm not going to go too crazy with it. I usually just do like some money. Maybe farther in the game, I will add a few more perks or something like that. And otherwise, I'll play the game as legit as possible. That's what I did for Avowed as well. I did a few console commands and stuff like that, and it made it look a little bit more easier to play for somebody like me that, we got tons of games to play and stuff, and it helped me get through Avowed a little faster, but still had a blast playing through. Same thing I'm going to do here with this game. I'm just going to do a few little mods and stuff. Now, if you're not playing on PC and you're playing on a console or something, well, then that's a no-go. You're not going to be able to do any console commands or mods or anything like that because that's a console. That's not a PC. And I'm playing this on my PC and my ROG Xbox Ally X, which I actually said the name right this time. Go figure. And it runs well on both. I just played a bit of it today on the PC to try out some of the console commands, and then I booted it up on my Xbox ROG Ally X to do the same with that, and it transferred my save over and all that. It did a lot of fun stuff, and it's a fun game, and it runs very smoothly, and it looks very good on the Xbox ROG Ally X, and I do plan on playing more of that today. I do plan on getting back into it, playing more of that today after the podcast and such, and having some Outer Worlds 2 fun, because why not? I enjoy Obsidian's games a bit, they're not all hits for me, but the one miss was probably, like I said, the Outer Worlds 1, which I just fell off of like other people. This one, it has more of a feel to Avowed than the first one. This one has more Avowed feel to the Outer Worlds 2. It has a more, okay, you just want to go out there and go crazy, shoot shit, do this, do that. crazy weapons, crazy storylines, stuff like that, this is your shit. This is going to be your shit. And it's very colorful. It's very vibrant. Instead of Spacer's Choice, now it's Granny's Choice, because Granny did a hostile takeover of Spacer's Choice, I guess, between games. So now it's Granny's Choice, which is, or Aunt, what is it? Aunt something. I call her Granny's Choice because that's what she reminds me of, but it's like Aunt somebody's choice. I forget her name. I don't remember every little detail about the games. I just play them. You could choose your companion to go with you. You got companions and stuff in this game as well. I chose the black guy, whatever his name is. I know I'm very bad with names and stuff like that. But I chose him over the robot by accident. But he's so far, he's been good. He's been doing a good job shooting, killing things. And if he dies, he dies, not a big deal. I'll go at it alone. But as of now, he's my partner. And until I find somebody else to take his position, his role as my partner and stuff, as my companion, just having fun doing some of the missions. They're all task-based missions already. You start in there, you got task A, get task A to task B, you find out this person, you find out what your limits are. This is the time in the game you find out where your limits are. Don't go over here because these guys are too badass, or be careful over here because these enemies and these creatures are way too powerful and leveled up than you. Oh, this person won't let you cross a bridge, which is kind of funny because that's what happened in Avowed, where they didn't let you go to another area because, oh, you got to do these tasks for us first, or for me first. If you don't do them, you can't cross this bridge, and there's no other way to get to this, cross this bridge and across the place, because if you try to cross this bridge, I'm going to shoot your ass down with all my other companions and stuff in this faction. We're going to shoot your ass down, and we don't usually let people through. But for you, if you do these tasks and you find my friend or whatever, I think it was her friend, and you find this other person, I'll let you cross the bridge. So I found the first friend already. I gave her arm because her first friend committed suicide and got stuck in some gears, and all that was left is her arm, just like in the Terminator movie, Terminator and Terminator 2 Judgment Day. I gave her the arm, and she's like, oh my God. Oh yeah, she's dead. Okay, she would have liked that. Now I got to find her other friend or person of interest, and I got to figure out where this person is, and I got to do some more missions, because then I ended up going to another person and another guy. He was basically with all these other people, basically escapist runaways. They're on the run. They're got their own place now, and they're trying to be their own faction or whatever. And they ask you to do some stuff for them as well. So I got to do some stuff and bring some stuff to these guys. It's going back and forth. And there's a lot of good fast travel points in this game. So where I'm at now in the first part of the game, I already unlocked so many fast travel points I can do. And I can just easily just fast travel anywhere on the planet until we get to another planet, I guess, and a new land and stuff. But as of right now, it feels very Avowed-ish. It feels very nice and slick and nice. It's got the old-timey music just like Fallout had. So instead of having like some special super spacey tracks and stuff like that, it has these old-timely tracks, which I guess are all in-house made. Like they didn't get any external music tracks. These were all in-house made, apparently, I heard. And they're pretty nice. You got your little old-timey Fallout music going. And when you're shooting enemies and creatures and stuff, when you just got the old-timey music on, it's like, this feels a little Fallout-ish as well. Bang, bang, bang. So it's been quite fun. Like I said, it runs very well. on both my Xbox Rogue Ally X and my PC. Haven't played it on my console because why? Why would I bother when I got a PC and an X and a handheld to play it on? My console is only reserved for games that are only on the Xbox console still for now. Unless if they're not, and then I can play them on all my other devices, which I could still do because I'm able to basically, as I can tell, still use my remote play from my console to my PC or handheld again. So it's kind of working again. I don't know if they did anything behind the scenes. I got an email back from them later saying, "Oh, we hope you're enjoying your remote play and stuff and that it's working all again and blah, 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 or contact us again if it's not or whatever." And I'm like thinking, okay, thank you for giving me the heads up email. But I noticed it was working again. I don't know if it's something they did on their end or it's something that I did or whatnot. They got all my console codes and serial numbers and stuff. So maybe they pushed a special update out to it for me or something that I didn't know about or whatnot. Because I have it on. In order to do remote play, you got to have your console basically in just regular standby mode, which is always on and stuff, which people say, well, that means you're sucking up a lot of electricity. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. I pay for my electricity. I pay my bills. Why can't I have my automatic updates? Which is better because when I go and if I want to play a game off the console, I don't have to worry about games having to update, and stuff like that or anything having to update. So I could go in there, play a game and it's already updated, or I can remote play to my devices, which is really nice, this is what I mostly do nowadays. I just remote play from it to my devices and have some fun playing games that are only came out to the Xbox and not to the PC Xbox side and stuff, because if I'm going to usually get games, I want to get them that are either the Game Pass games or games that I usually buy. I buy them for Xbox side or something. Or if it's a game that I know I want to get achievements for, or if it is not coming. If it wasn't coming to Xbox and it was only coming to Steam, like PlayStation games, then yes, of course I'm going to buy those games on Steam. But if it's a game that I know is coming to Xbox, but it isn't coming to the PC Xbox store, I will still buy for Xbox because I know I can remote play that on my devices, so it doesn't really matter. But like I also said, that's not the same situation everybody has, so not everybody's able to do the same thing like I can do because it depends on your bandwidth, your Wi-Fi in your house. If you got a good mesh system or whatever, a router in your house, I would highly suggest a mesh system, and that you got your Xbox and all that stuff. Even so, you do need your Xbox for the Xbox games, but if they're in the cloud, then it's something totally different. Then you don't need an Xbox, but most of the games aren't in the cloud either. So until all these third-party companies out there like Take-Two or whatever decide to sell these games in the Xbox PC store, which I don't know if Microsoft's going to ever get them to do. They should, because I would think they would want more money, and if Microsoft gives them a better deal and they charge less for them to put their games in their PC storefront, I don't understand why they wouldn't do that. I don't understand why people don't do it as much, because people are still getting, putting their games in Steam, which is a 30% cut for Steam. And you got, like I said, you got the Epic Store, your Game Store, and you got the Xbox PC Store, and they charge and take a lot less. I don't know why people just don't put them out everywhere and just say, hey, we're just going to put them on Steam. We're going to put them on all these other storefronts. Who cares? If our game is getting sold, if people buy more of it on the Xbox PC side of the store, good for them, But I don't know. It's all gaming politics. It's all business politics and stuff. I don't know what these video game companies think about half the time. And then a lot of them still complain like, oh, our game, why isn't our game selling as much or this or that? Well, if you're not giving everybody every option out there to buy your game on every storefront, some people are like me and we're very stupid in our ways where we want like achievements or something. So I'll buy it only in the PC and the Xbox part of the stuff. And people, there's people that just want to play their games on Steam, or the very few, I guess, that play from the Epic Store, if they're not playing Fortnite or something like that. But otherwise, yes, Outer Worlds 2, it so far it's good. In the beginning, I was like, okay, is this going to go anywhere? I was getting a little frustrated because it doesn't really tell you exactly 100% where to go. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Like if I get into one of the areas close to where my objective is, the objective isn't shown in the area. Like they don't show you to a very close extent where that thing is. You got to actually search for where your event or whatever's going on is. It's not very good at telling you and showing you where things are at in the game. And that kind of gets me a little bit. It's like, oh, so why can't you just show me exactly? You already have the pinpoint and the area that this event is going to happen and take place, but you just don't want to show me exactly where that event is going to happen, which I don't like that. I like games that show me to the point of where it is. I don't like to go hide and seek every time to find out where I have to go exactly and where stuff is. I usually just like, oh, there it is. I'm going to go to it. Let's do this event. Let's play this part of the game, But that's how they get you to play more of the game, and that's how they get you to stay in the game longer, which makes their numbers look better. But if you're like me and you got the Outer Worlds 2 on Game Pass, then all they're getting is my Game Pass subscription money, so it doesn't really matter now, does it? But and the weapons are pretty good so far. I only got now I got this. At first I started with this pistol gun and this little dagger knife thing, and then later I when I got into the town off the ship or whatever I was on, then I finally got a nice rifle, a nice big rifle. It's really cool. It's got sights and everything. It's like I'm shooting them with these big shotgun shells and stuff, and you see the shells fly on, and then you got to reload it and stuff. And I got this really cool sword thing where it's glowing and stuff. It's got shit on it or whatever it is. It's uber powered, and you can just go, it's like a big scythe kind of a sword thing going on. And it's really cool. And I'm just chopping up enemies and stuff with that thing. It's been pretty fun. I like the melee part of that. I'm not very good at stealth, of course, but I think I was doing okay because there were some stealth parts in the beginning that you don't want to get these guys and find them, so you can do stealth kills. I did it a little bit in the beginning because that's what they wanted, but later on in the game, I'm like, yeah, who cares? I'm just going to hack and slash them all, shoot them all. Notice they got some creatures that are from Fallout as well. If you look at them, these big lizard-like creatures that walk around big giant iguanas and stuff, and they're just shooting acid at me. That is something that looked exactly like something from what Bethesda had in their Fallout games or something, or Starfield, one of these creatures. And it's oh, these guys look like the same things from the Bethesda games. Oh well, they're spraying, they're trying to get me, these big lizard things, and they're and they're jumping around, they turn invisible and stuff, but you could still somewhat see their outlines and stuff. And I just try to mow them down as best I can. They get me a bunch of times with the acid, but I was pretty much point on shooting them with that rifle. That rifle's pretty powerful, and it goes pretty far distance when you're just scoping out one of the creatures and bam, 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 and it's whoa, they're dead. And then you can go rape their corpse for whatever items that might be on them. That's another thing, raping all the creatures and people and boxes for items and stuff, collecting. That is something that really got my goat a bit in the first Outer Worlds game, where it was just really confusing on what's this, what's that, what am I doing with this, what's this for, what's that. This game, it seems like they spell it out and they make it a lot easier to figure out, what do you got here? Oh, you need these bullets, or you need this kind of a weapon, or you need this kind of a thing. Oh, this will heal you. This will be your key hacking, key unlockable thing where you can unlock keys and stuff. And then they got these super master keys that I forgot what they call them, like super legendary, whatever, massive keys where they're special keys where you can only take to your ship or something, where you can unlock the really, really good stuff. And they're hard to find. I just found one of those super keys. I got to take it back to my ship, I think, to unlock whatever. I think, what was it? There was something really good. Was it a cloak or stealth or something? It was the next unlock item. They tell you what the next unlock item is, and it's like a stealth or something, cloak, whatever it is. I'll have to check it out. And then I'll use my super key to unlock that, and then they'll tell me what the next super key item will be and stuff like that. So they actually give you some knowledge on what you can do for your upgrades. And there's a ton of perks. When you get a special ability, like when you choose what type of character you want to be and stuff like that, and some of the abilities and perks you want and stuff like that. Then it gives you a list of perks when you get into the perks section, when you get points on perks that you can choose from to play as your character. And then there'll be a bunch of perks underneath that are not able to be chosen. They'll be grayed out a bit, and those you cannot choose unless if you get a certain skill or perk or something to unlock those, so you can actually get those. And then they got like super perks where they're like, well, the skills where you can choose a special skill set that makes your character better or faster or whatever. And then they have a thing, I forgot what it's called. It's called what is that thing called? It's what do they call it? I'm trying to think. My brain is burning out again. It's a glitch, not a glitch. What's that called? What do they call it? It's on the tip of my tongue. I know what I'm gonna say. Okay, I think it's a flaw, right? I think it's a flaw system where after you're doing certain stuff, sometimes the screen will pop up and says, "Oh, we just encountered something in a flaw that you can choose if you want a flaw." And I'm thinking, who would ever want to choose to get flawed with stuff? I guess flaws can help you in certain ways, even though they'll hurt you in a lot of other ways. I never was that kind of a guy, and I think they had that system in the first one, if I remember correctly, in the Outer Worlds 1, where they had the flaw system where it's like, oh, do you want to choose to get flawed with something or not? And it's like, oh, you can get these skills, you can get all these skill points that you want, but you can only unlock like one skill at a time, and it's going to take you a while to get a next skill point, or you can't upgrade a certain skill points or something. And I'm like, I don't want any flaws like that. And I reject them all the time. I know others would probably like to get some of those flaws. And then they got I guess they got flaws like you can get all the flaws and stuff. And I'm like, I'm sure somebody crazy out there would love to do that. And I'm sure people that are playing this game over and over again, which this game seems like a type of game, as I hear, depending on what you pick for your perks and your skills and all that stuff. It goes and it changes the course of the game and the gameplay and the endings and throughout the game, the story and the storylines and what you're talking with characters and stuff. It's like different all the time and such. So they do have a lot of replayability in this game, apparently. Apparently this game is going to be very replayable. For me, I think I'm only going to still play it once because there's a ton of games out there and I only have so much time for games, unless if there's like achievements or something I could get for playing a second time and trying to do something different and whatnot. My character, she's female again. I like to pick my sexy female characters and stuff. Red hair, red eyes, stuff like that. Ruby red lips. Badass. I forgot what she was. Not a scoundrel. I think she's like a commando or something. I'll have to recheck her skill set and stuff. I should have actually copied it when I was playing the game. I should have took a picture of it, a screenshot of it, of her character and abilities and stuff. Next time I'll do that for the next podcast. But Yeah, she's badass. Because I'm sick of playing as dudes in all the games. There's a lot of games that I play dudes at, so I'm like, pick the nice ladies once in a while. They can be just as badass as the dudes. I have no problem with that. But like I said, so far so good with the game. I haven't seen too many glitches or anything like that. Like I said, there's some stuff they could have maybe dialed a little bit better into, like trying to find stuff and find where you're supposed to go and stuff and do some other things. But overall, so far, it feels pretty good as a space RPG from Obsidian Entertainment. And it has a little bit, I also noticed with the coloring and grabbing of bullets and this and that from vending machines, it has a little bit of Borderlands type of feel to it. I know it's definitely not a Borderlands game, but it does have that Borderlands type of a light feel to it, which really made me go, okay. It's got a bit of Avowed in here. It's got a bit of Borderlands in here. It's a space game. I'm hoping I like it. I hope I like the story more. So I'm going to keep playing it. At first I was like, I was hesitant. And now I'm like, okay. After playing some more of it, I'm like, okay, this is going to be fine. And like I said, I will do a few little light mods or something to help me speed up the game just a little bit or do some things and make my gameplay a little bit better. But otherwise, I'm not going to do too much. I don't usually do too much. I usually just add more money to my character or whatever, some various light things and stuff like that. And then I just play the game as it was semi-meant to be. That's another great thing about being a PC gamer and stuff. Playing on PC, you could do a whole lot more to your games and such to make them even better to be played than you would a game console or something like that, which restricts you from doing that kind of stuff. On a PC, you can do more of that fun stuff to make your game the way you want it. And you know what? People will say, what, doesn't it hurt the gameplay for you? And I'm like, no, it makes the gameplay more fun for me. And if this is only happening to me and I'm not playing with other people, it shouldn't matter because it's my game. And I want to play my game my way. And if I'm having fun, it should not hurt, and it's not hurting anybody else out there. It's fine by me. Fine by me. But you know what? I do like hurting other people out. I like to hurt other people elsewhere. Mortal Kombat Legacy Kollection, which just came out also last week, which is a double hitter for me because I was like scrambling about saying, okay, I got to do this video. As of this recording today, right before the recording, I just put up my Outer Worlds 2 first gameplay video. So if anybody's wondering, that is up and out today, a little past later than the date it came out on Wednesday, because it came out on Wednesday. I recorded on Wednesday, but I said, I'm going to put this on Sunday because I knew Thursday and Friday were going to be Mortal Kombat Thursday and Fridays. So did a lot of Mortal Kombating on Thursday and Friday. So yeah, the craziness there. With so many games and stuff that have been released and stuff. So, plus I've been playing a bit of The Wolf Among Us, which also I should try to play some of that today. We'll see if I do get into that. But otherwise, Mortal Kombat Legacy Kollection. Got it for the Series X, of course. Because why would I not? It is a collection of a bunch of early Mortal Kombat games from 1, 2, 3. I think, was there a Mortal Kombat 4. You get the Quan Chi one. You get the, or what is it called? Something Sub-Zero. You get the Forces, Mortal Kombat Forces game. You get all these Game Boy Advance color games and stuff. Sega CD or Sega Master System. I don't think Sega CD. Maybe a Sega CD version of Mortal Kombat. You get the arcade versions of these games and a whole bunch of other stuff. you get a whole bunch of other stuff and a lot of games. And I heard in the future there may be more games coming in the future, maybe a few more games in the future. I do not know. That was just a big rumor in the rumor mill that they might add some extra games to this collection down the road for the Mortal Kombats. And also they are going to probably add... that they said they were going to add a proper online mode. They do have some online. They do have online for a lot of these games in this Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection, but it's like peer-to-peer. So basically, you're the server, the other person's the server, and you're playing against each other. I don't have no problem with that. I think that's okay. It's been running okay for me because I've been playing on the server. It depends on the person's connection. But if they are going to put out a actual server part where you can play these Mortal Kombat games on an actual server, then that will be a hell of a lot better, because then it'll be like, oh, maybe better, smoother gameplay. Because like I said, I connect to some of these people and you can tell right away that they have really bad internet, or they're trying to play this on like a DSL phone connection or whatever like that, and they're just it just gets really wonky and stuff. And those are the matches I just quit out of, because it's like, dudes, you get better internet. Yes, they got everything. Get Starlink, whatever. Who cares if you're spending hundreds of dollars a month? If you're gonna if you want to play this online, you got to get better internet. You shouldn't go on the internet and try to play a game that you know that your internet is not good for, because you're just going to ruin the experience for other people, or else they're just going to cancel out of you when they see you that your internet sucks. Me, I got great internet. I got fiber internet. I get up to gigabit internet over here in Buffalo, New York here. Got up to gigabit. I wish Verizon Fios would offer more, but then that would mean that my pricing would go up, and I don't need more than a gigabit. I think the speeds I get that go up to a gigabit in speed, as they somewhat advertise, I think that's fine enough for me. I don't need any more than that. I'm not gaming or streaming 4K or anything like that, so I don't really need that kind of internet. And I'm sure even if I did stream 4K, I bet you it would handle it pretty well for my upload and download and my pings. My ping is pretty good. My ping is very, very low on stuff like that. But playing online with certain games, I don't think all the games have online, but a good majority do. And like I said, they're pretty fun. I beat some guys. I lost a lot more to some guys. I think it said on my record I won 5 online matches and then lost like 4 or something like that. And then I won like 30-something matches in the games themselves and stuff like that. Like I said, this is very well put. It's by Digital Eclipse, which is owned by Atari. They're doing it for NetherRealm Studios and Warner Brothers game division. Here's the biggest knockdown to this whole Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection that I think is the biggest knockdown. When the game first starts, when you get into Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection, they go, oh, this is Digital Eclipse, this is Atari, this is Warner Brother Games. And I'm like, but they don't show NetherRealm Studios at all. At least until you get into the documentaries and stuff like that. And I'm like, these games were made by NetherRealm Studios. It's not like Digital Eclipse or anybody redid them from the ground up. They added stuff. They fixed them up so they were playable in a certain way in this game. But these are all NetherRealm Studios games, and what I'm surprised. I can't even say his name. Mr. Boom. I'm surprised the people at NetherRealm didn't go, hey, where's our logo on this? You know, Ed Boon. Yes, Ed Boon. That's what I was going to say. I was almost saying Matt Booty. I didn't want to say his name by accident, but Ed Boon. I'm surprised he didn't speak out about it and go, hey, where's NetherRealm Studios logo on the main start of the game? Because this is our games, our collection of games that we worked hard on since we were youngsters and stuff like that. And I kind of felt like that was a kind of a rip to them. And this is a collection that they're interviewing. They're probably helped Digital Eclipse get some of this stuff together to work out so that these games would run better on this collection and stuff. Because this was a big task. You know, they did Atari 50 back when, then they did the Tetris collection, and now they're doing this. And I'm like, oh boy, the Mortal Kombat collection. Legacy Collection. This is something else. This is a thing. And like I said, kind of a bummer that NetherRealm Studios logo wasn't on the main splash page when you start up the game. I don't know if that was just something that they just missed, or maybe NetherRealm said, we're not the ones working directly on this stuff too much. Maybe you could put our logo in the back, or it's going to be throughout the documentaries and stuff, which it is. And it's like, but still, you would think they would be on there. I don't know. Weird politics. Again, weird gaming politics behind the scenes. It's stupid stuff that I would notice. Other people probably don't notice, but I notice. It's like they should have NetherRealm Studios logo on the beginning of this whole thing. Otherwise, great documentary so far. I watched a little bit of it so far. I'm still in the first chapter of this documentary, but learning a lot of stuff, watching a lot of interesting stuff, a lot of great artwork and stuff, how they did it, how they painted over this video. They did their digital paintings over stupid analog VHS tape videos and stuff like that to get these characters to look really realistic in a way that is in 256 colors on like this Nintendo or Sega Saturn or Sega Genesis, Nintendo NES, Super NES, stuff like that. And I'm like, they really did a lot to make these games look and play as well as they did. And it was just a lot of new tech, a lot of new ways, and a lot of like blowing away the competition and what they were doing with these Mortal Kombat games. And they took a lot of that to heart because they were inspired. Ed Boon and stuff was inspired by stuff like Street Fighter and Killer Instinct and stuff, and inspired by how the Japanese make better animated characters and stuff in games than they did and stuff like that with sprites and all that. And they took a different approach. They're like, we'll get real people, we'll do real things, and then we'll just, draw them in over them in the game and make them in the game. And it's like, wow, even though this person is pixelated and she's just drawn in from the actual person, they make it really good. Like, it's just like her photo and they're doing that. And it's like such craziness. This is before digital cameras and all that stuff was a big thing. This is all analog and stuff like that, getting into a digital little cartridge. Now, also, they were talking about a lot how all this stuff had to fit on these little cartridges, these with little memory in them and stuff like that, because they didn't have much memory back in the day to put these games on. And they had to put music and they had to put actions and story and all this stuff in these cartridges. And it was like a lot of stuff they had to get rid of because they just didn't have the memory to do a lot of stuff. And it's like, wow. Because they couldn't just add more memory to these cartridges, because I'm sure that would have cost an arm and a leg to do or whatnot. But it's just different times and a lot of creativity that comes out of these different times of how these games were created and stuff. And the documentary goes into so much and behind the scenes and old video footage of them talking. They even got the guy they created, Qbert, to help make Mortal Kombat. He was one of those people that helped make Mortal Kombat and stuff, which is really crazy. And digital paint mapping, stuff like that, stuff that just really blew me away on, wow, this is how you created this game. I heard stories of it before. And I saw on other documentaries that other people did, and like on G4 back in the day, they did an Icons Mortal Kombat look through, and they touched on some of this stuff, but this is just crazy. like the Goro maquette that they were showing, that they created the maquette of Goro and then they put him in the game and filmed him and did all the, what do you call it, stop motion animation for him in the game. And it's like mind-blowing, freaking mind-blowing. Enjoyed all of that stuff. I enjoyed every bit of that documentary so far, and I cannot wait to continue on playing this documentary to watch more of this stuff. And then I think like I said before, the music, all you can get, they got all the music soundtracks from all the games in that collection, or at least whatever games had all the music in that collection. And they just put it inside this thing, this whole package, and you can change up what music. Like you can pick tracks from all that music and make it your own soundtrack. So whenever you boot up the game, it just goes into your own soundtrack behind the scenes when you're going through menus and stuff. I haven't done that yet. I'm just listening to everything that's being played on the Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection. That's all I wanted to play. I'm just listening to everything's music so far so I can get caught up on it. And then when I start listening to the music all over again, like when I get through it, then I'll make myself a little track playlist or something. But everything sounds good. Everything plays okay. I think, and I heard, and also I've been going on the internet and other people have been stating the same thing, and I don't know if this is 100% true or not. I think there's some either lagginess in some of the input controls or some problems with some input controls stuff in the game while I'm trying to play it on my Xbox Series X. I'm finding that a lot of games, like if I'm trying to do a certain move or if I'm trying to do a fatality, even when I get that unlimited fatality time and I'm trying over and over and over again to try to do a fatality and it doesn't work, even though I'm hitting the correct sequence of buttons and I'm trying to do no, my fingers are slow as hell and bad, but I've been getting certain fatalities or babyalities or animalities and stuff like that in some of these games. But sometimes I'm not for certain characters, and it's like really bothersome and aggravating when it's like, oh, I wanted to do this fatality to this person, and I can't. And back in the day when I played this stuff on a Sega Genesis or a Sega Saturn or something like that, I was able to get down and I'd have my little printed out moves list, and I would actually know how to do the fatalities and stuff. And it seems like maybe they're not mapping to the controllers as well or whatnot. Maybe it's something they got to tweak behind the scenes in an update or something for the game, because I think some of those gameplay moves and gameplay moves and sequences and finishers and stuff, I think they got to better map them or something. They got to make them better so that they'll run and stuff like that. Otherwise, a lot of customization that you can customize throughout the games and stuff they have in the menu section and the options menu section for each of the games. You can choose different things you want to add or de-add to the game. It's basically like the dip switch approach to like arcade games back in the day. They got their digital dip switches for these games, so you can change how these games play and whatnot and stuff like that. I think it's pretty cool, and I like having some different options to play these games with. It is a complete, a very good complete collection, and a very good like I said again, package to this whole Mortal Kombat original Mortal Kombat's games. And I think Digital Eclipse did another really good collection here with a nice documentary. And if you like documentaries, especially on video games and such, and then on top of it, you get to play all these video games and such and see artwork and behind the scenes and listen to the music for $50, that ain't bad. That ain't a bad price point for this whole collection. Especially when you got the Outer Worlds 2 and other games like that are coming out. And those games are mostly like $70 and stuff like that because those are full price games unless if you got Game Pass. Now note this isn't on Game Pass, but earlier before when I pre-ordered it, it was a little bit cheaper. I think I got it for like 40 something dollars or something instead of 50. So I saved a little bit of money, but right now it's 50. If you still think you want to wait a little bit and you wanted to get updated a little bit or whatnot, and you want to wait for the price to go down, go ahead. But $50, not really bad either for a bunch of games and a documentary on top of it and some music. You can't go wrong for that, for a nice package like that. Plus you're supporting Digital Eclipse, and if they make a good amount of money off this, they're going to keep making more different stuff. A lot of people are saying, oh, they should do the original Dooms. They should do the original Wolfensteins or stuff like that, other games in the original sense. I would be like, sure, why not? Yeah, but otherwise, I've been having a blast. I've been playing a lot of this, of the Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection. Maybe I'll get into some of that today. I don't know. So many games to play. And I've been playing a lot of Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection over this weekend so far. So, like I said, I might stick with just more of the Outer Worlds 2. I know this morning I played some other stuff, but I might as well get into the games that I played in the past week if I'm going to talk about that stuff. So why don't I get into that now? There's nothing more I got to talk about for Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection. And like I said, it's a good, solid collection, and it's worth the money. So why don't I get into the games that I've played in the past week?
The games that have been played in the past week.
Excuse me, I had to take a sip of water, another sip of water. This is bad pod, but that's okay. If you're watching the video version, you're just watching me drink some water. That's only because my throat is dry. It's dry. When it's wintertime and it gets colder out and you got the heat on, it's dry. And I can't have any humidifiers in this house because if I have a humidifier in this house, that's not good for your electronics. And all over this house, I got lots of electronics. A lot of technology. Don't want them to get wet or moist. No, not good for electronics or technology. Okay, so the games that I played in this past week, for the beginning of the week, before all these games came out, I've been still Diablo 4ing. Been playing a lot of Diablo 4 via Series X remote play on my Xbox ROG Ally-X. Having a lot of fun. Going dungeon hunting and stuff like that. Taking a little break from Diablo for right now. Not that I won't get back into it right away because, like I said, all these new games are out. I'm going to be playing more Outer Worlds 2 and stuff like that. So, but been going through the story and stuff with Diablo 4. There's a lot of game there still. And even though it's been out for a long time and it's been out there for a long time, it's still fun to play. Still a fun game for me to play, and I'm glad I'm getting to play it now and just having fun playing that. And you can get in, play a bit, and get out. It's one of those types of games where you can play a little bit of it and get out of it. I like those types of games. I don't like games that try to keep you stuck in there, or you can't save to a certain point or do this because you got to play this game and you got to get to this point. I don't like games like that. I like games that give you an option and a choice. Oh, if you play like 5 minutes of this game and then you want to get out, there you go. We'll save your spot there. I like that. I like that a lot, especially when time is finite nowadays. You want to get play a game. Sometimes you just want to play a little bit of that game and then you want to get into something else right away. So there's that. So it's a good thing that I can just get in, play a little bit, and get out. And Diablo 4 still holds up, still fun. I'm wondering, I know there's the whole mishmash of what, Microsoft is nowadays and what they're turning Xbox into nowadays and all the studios and stuff. I wonder if Blizzard's thinking about a Diablo 5 or anything like that, or are they working on something totally different, or if it's just a World of Warcraft studio. I don't know. I would hope that there would be more Diablo. I'm sure a lot of people would be wanting more Diablo. Would it be too soon for a new Diablo? Maybe we should wait a bit before a Diablo 5 comes out or something, because Diablo 4 was just outed, what, a few years ago, give or take? I forget. A little earlier ago, a bit ago, but still, you want to wait a little bit longer for another Diablo, because it's going to be basically more of the same, and what they're going to write for a storyline or whatever. And, will Lilith, I don't know what happens to her in the end of Diablo 4, but is she going to go back to hell? If Mephisto coming back, blah, 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 blah. Got to find that out in the story, but wonder what they'll do for the next Diablo. Will Diablo come back again? Because that's why they call it Diablo. We'll find out. Played a bit of more Ninja Gaiden 4. Been playing that a little bit on my Xbox ROG X, seeing how that runs it, and runs it quite well. I like the easy buttons where I just don't want to do like those super hesitant, super fast things where you're riding the rails and stuff, and you got to jump to point and do this and do that, swing on this, do that, and you got to do it really fast or you die, and all these sequences and stuff. I like when they have the easy buttons for that, where it just basically does it for me in the game. I know that's kind of cheapish, but for somebody like me with, like I said, I got the slowish fingers and stuff, my old slow fingers that have been used heavily throughout the years. That helps. That helps me play a game as super fast-paced as Ninja Gaiden 4. It looks great. The stories basically go run here, do this, fight this person, fight this boss battle. Eventually you're going to get to the major boss battle where it's going to be against the dragon again or whatever, and then you got to put the dragon back in the box or whatever like that. And you got your not companion lady, but you got the religious lady, as they like to say, the hot religious anime lady, and the weird pointy heel things that she's walking on, and I'm like still weirded out by that, but it's a good game. It's not, it's made just like the other Ninja Gaiden games, at least on the premise of Ninja Gaiden 2 Black Edition that I played and beat. It still seems like it's more of that. It seems like a sequel to that for me. A lot of rain, a lot of darkness, a lot of clouds, a lot of in the city. I think I'm just getting out of the city now. I think that's where I ended up in Ninja Gaiden 4. Like, I'm finally got out of the city. I'm like in an open area. I hope it's more open area, more, foresty kind of things. I'm sure we'll go into the sewers and then go back to hell again and whatnot. That's where these Ninja Gaiden games take you. What else? Haven't gotten to see Ryu yet. I haven't gotten him. I'm playing all these other characters, but not Ryu yet. So I'm wondering where he's gonna pop up in this game. I hear it's a very good game still. Like I said, I've just played a little chunk of it. I am gonna get more into it as well. It's another one of those games where it's like, well, I can pick up and play anytime, and then put it down, pick it up, play it. Eventually I'm gonna beat it. Because I will, like at the last one, but, I'm sure it's got a lot of chapters. I'm sure it's got a lot of stuff. And like I said, I got a bunch of other games that I want to play. And, there's other games that are on a higher priority list than Ninja Gaiden 4. But eventually I'll get back to Ninja Gaiden 4 because it's just one of those games you could just pick up, play a bit of. It seems like it's got good save points to it. It's got like automatic save points or checkpoints or whatever they like to call it. And does a decent job. It looks beautiful. Every character looks beautiful in the game. And being a ninja is fun. But it's, like I said, it came out at a time where there's a sea of games coming out right now. Like one right after another. And it's just going to fight. It's got to fight its way to people's hearts. And there's a lot of people that just want to play Ninja Gaiden games and stuff like that. So those people have already played it, are done with Ninja Gaiden 4, and they're just waiting for the next Ninja game, I guess. Nothing more to speak about it, but like I said, I played a bit more of that on my PC just to have some more Ninja Gaiden 4 fun, because why not? I will get back into that eventually. And this ongoing game, which like I said, I'll either play later today or I could play tomorrow, but I got to have another episode out and ready for Wednesday, because I think I'm on chapter, 2 or 3 of The Wolf Among Us. But I'm still playing The Wolf Among Us. Still, achievements have not been unlocking for this game. I think they're just plain out broken in this game. But I'm like, whatever. I'm still enjoying playing it, and I'm going to play through the whole Wolf Among Us episodes and stuff and have my fun, even if the achievements do not unlock for me. Maybe someday they will. One time I had a game where I didn't unlock achievements, and it was like I'm probably really making this out to be absurd, but it was like almost a year in or something. And then eventually all those achievements just randomly unlocked one day or something. It was just like really weird. It was like one day all these achievements from my game just unlocked all together. It was like boop, 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 unlock. And I'm like, now you're unlocking? But it's kind of weird that this game doesn't, the achievements are broken on unlocking them. Maybe there's something like a mod or something I could do to get these achievements to unlock. Maybe they got something on Nexus mods where I can go, hey, the Wolf Among Us PC port, can I get these achievements unlocked? Is there an achievement unlocker so that after I beat the game, these achievements unlock because they're broken? I don't know. Maybe there is. There's usually some way to get stuff working. And if not, c'est la vie. Doesn't matter. Still a fun game. Want to get through it. Want to play the whole Wolf Among Us game. And maybe it'll get some more people on board with the Wolf Among Us and stuff in these Telltale games of the past. And maybe eventually we'll get an announcement when the Wolf Among Us 2 comes out. Because they said it was supposed to come out this year, but I heard nothing. Nobody's heard anything about this. I know they delayed it the one time. But I want this game out. I want that sequel out. I want to play it. I want to find out what the Wolf Among Us 2 is going to be like. Because I'll buy that ASAP and start playing that. But heard nothing. Seen nothing. Kind of weird. And I think I talked a bit about... There's nothing really to talk about. Powerwash Simulator 2. Why not? Been playing that. They came out also recently, which is one of those other games that have come out alongside the Outer Worlds 2, Mortal Kombat Legacy Kollection, Ninja Gaiden 4. All those games have been coming out. Powerwash Simulator 2, great Game Pass game, just like the first. I've been knocking out stuff left and right in that game. It's a good game that if you just want to get in, play a little bit of game, sit down, lay down, relax, play a little bit of something. Power washing is a very good, soothing game to play, especially for Power Wash Simulator 2. It's more of the same of the first one with new stuff to power wash. Plus, you got your own power washing headquarters, your Power Wash Simulator headquarters. And you got a bunch of little kitty cats that surround you in this headquarters. Of course, there's this behind the scenes kind of with texts and stuff and the way that everything looks and stuff. There's a backstory to everything. Of course, it's more like, oh, are we going to get more aliens in this game? Or what's going on with this whole building beaming, shooting a laser beam in this dormant volcano? Is there going to be a volcano that explodes? What's going on behind the scenes now? I've been seeing all this stupid stuff of, oh, what sinister thing is going on now behind the scenes as we are just power washing away. But you see all this stuff pop up on your screen with these text messages and stuff saying, whoa, this is weird. There's this big laser beam going and hitting this dormant volcano. I'm like, well, that can't be good. As I'm power washing a billboard. And that's what I did this morning. When I woke up this morning, well, early or late, I don't know anymore. It was early in the morning. I had my Xbox Raw Guy X with me at my bedside, and I'm like, you know what? I gotta play a game in bed once. So I turned around, laid on my stomach, because that's how I like to play games in bed. I don't like to lay down and play the game on top of me or anything, or lay like sideways. I can do that on the couch or whatever, in my living room or outside on the deck porch like that. But on my bed, I gotta lay on my stomach. So I put the pillows up, I lay on the pillows, and I got the gaming handheld in front of me, and I'm just playing away, and it's really fun. I'm just power washing this whole freeway sign and stuff and all that, and just having a ball. It's fun. It's a fun game. It's very soothing. It's a fun game. It's stupid because it's like, well, I got a real power washer, can do some real power washing. People probably say that, well, you could just do some real power washing. Why are you doing the fake one? Well, in the fake one, you don't get all wet and you don't have to take out a power washer and all this equipment to just power wash something. You can just go and power wash and be in your comfy, warm house and not have to worry about anything. That's why I like to play Power Wash Simulator and Simulator 2, because it's just nice, and you don't get all wet and cold and stuff like that. So that's why I like Power Washer Simulator 2. I'm glad it came out. I hear a lot of people are like jumping in and playing it, because why not? It's more one of those simulator games that I like to play, just like the first Power Wash Simulator, just like other simulator games, just like Crime Scene Cleaner, which I hear they're going to be doing that sequel to that game as well. And these are the types of games I like to just play over time and then just beat them and just be like, hey, I'm satisfied. Why not? And Power Wash Simulator 2 is on Game Pass right now, so you can get that, just like how Ninja Gaiden 4 is on Game Pass and Diablo 4 is on Game Pass. Now note, The Wolf Among Us and Mortal Kombat Legacy Kollection is not on Game Pass, but The Outer Worlds 2 is, and I just talked already a bunch about The Outer Worlds 2 on PC that I've been playing, and the Xbox ROG Ally X. Also, it's available for the Xbox and Series X and S, and you can get it on Steam. And I think you can also get The Outer Worlds 2 on PlayStation 5. I should check that. I should double check that. Let me double check that. Let's see here. Let's see. Excuse me for a second here. And yes, you can get The Outer Worlds 2 for the PlayStation 5 for $70. I forgot how much these games go for, these first-party Xbox games and PlayStation games. $70 you can get The Outer Worlds 2 for on the PlayStation 5 if you want to play it on there, which I just checked on the PlayStation storefront, and it's got thousands of happy customer reviews on there. It's got very, very high starage. It's like 4 out of 5 or whatever. Everybody's liking The Outer Worlds 2, playing it on the PS5. So you're welcome, PlayStation. Microsoft's actually selling you guys some games with Xbox. And unfortunately, behind the scenes, it's not doing very good. But, that's only because corporate greed and stupidity has been making Xbox less than what it is. But I already talked about The Outer Worlds 2. I already talked about Mortal Kombat Legacy, which I'm playing on the Series X, which I can also remote play, which I'm going to try today to remote play Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection on my ROG Ally X and see how well that plays. It should play fine. But those were the games that I played in the past week, so got through that pretty quickly. A bunch of games here, a lot of good games, a lot of good stuff. Very happy with the games that I've been playing, and I'm very happy that I get to play a lot more games because it is cold, bad weather outside, and I'm not really going outside, even though I have to probably go out today, hopefully, if I get a chance to, because I got to go check my tire pressure, make sure, because I want to do it when my vehicle's been sitting for a while, so I can check, see if the air pressure is good, because when it's cold out, you might have to add a little bit more air pressure, so I'm going to check out all the tires very quickly today, probably right after this podcast, and I get it edited and stuff like that, and then I'll go out there very quickly, check my tire pressure, see if it's all good, and then I'll come back inside and play more games and have food and stuff and eat and stuff like that. I made some banana bread cakes yesterday. Very not good for you, but made from fresh and old bananas, and they're cakes. It's a good, delicious cakes with a lot of cinnamon and stuff like that. Really good. Got some baking supplies over the weekend when I went grocery shopping. Have chicken for dinner and stuff like that. Best time for this winter, for winter food. Ooh, just got to keep the weight. Got to try to keep my stomach down, though. That's the only thing. I'm trying to keep the stomach and the weight down. It's going to be hard. Wintertime, it's hard. I've been working out a little bit, just a little bit. I'll be able to work out some more this week, but last week it was just crazy with all the gaming and stuff going on with all the new games. But hopefully this week will be a little bit easier for me to do some more working out and stuff. But when I'm inside, it's, eating, playing games. That's what I do. That's what we do best in the cold wintertime. And then hopefully spring will come around that corner and then I could go back outside again because I'm crazy like that. So those were the games that I played in the past week. I already talked about that. I did some clicking by accident here, but I didn't. So I got some new stuff, folks. You know me. I always waste money on new stuff. The first thing that I got, because it was on sale on the Amazon store, and I should bring up what that was or how much that is. I did not check out how much that was ahead of time. I should have remembered, but I forgot. That's like me, of course. But I'm looking it up right now. Let's see if this is still on sale. Yeah, it's a lot more money now. Okay. So it's not on sale. It's only 15% off. I got it a lot cheaper because it was a big sale. Yeah, I got it for, at the time, before this podcast, a 2 terabyte Seagate storage Xbox Series expansion card. 2 terabyte expansion card drive was only $189.99 on Amazon. And right now it's back to $200 and what dollars? It's back to its original price now. I got it for $189.99 at the time. It was on sale, really big discount. Now it's at $219 again. So a little bit more expensive. The 4 terabyte one didn't really go down in price at all. So I said to myself, am I ever going to fill up 4 terabytes on my Series X console? Now, I got a terabyte on there. Now I just added this 2 terabyte, plus I got that external drive that I got like 4 terabytes on, which is just to store games that, I never really play, but I have them on there just in case in the future, if I ever want to play them. But I did get this. I transferred all those games from the terabyte and my internal 1 terabyte from the console to this expansion drive. It transferred those games really quickly. It was going gigabits per second. It was going like 4 gigabits per second on transfer speeds from the internal drive to this. And I'm like, holy shit, that's pretty quick. I wish everything was like that. I wish my hard drives were all like that. But I said, why not? I got this. It came the next day from Amazon. I'm like, why not? So I bought one of these. I know, pretty stupid, because if I'm not really playing my Xbox, but like I said, there are still games that only come out on the console, and I do buy those games that do come out on the console. And if I want to play them remotely on my Series X, on my Xbox ROG Ally X or my PC, it's good to just be able to put them on there and not worry about them. There's a lot of digital games. Like I got a whole bunch of games that I just downloaded to that drive. Filled up half of it already. Filled up almost a terabyte of that already on that Series X 2 terabyte drive from Seagate. But like I said, it was on sale before. I wish they would have continued to sale, but I guess it was maybe for a week only, as I'm guessing. It should probably go back on these Seagate drives, and of course they do have the other drives from what are they called? Forgot the other name of the other company that makes these drives. The lesser company, as I call them. But not Mac Store. What are they called? But anywho, these little expansion drives will go on sale again, I'm sure, for Black Friday and whatnot. I am damn sure of that. But just as right now, they're back up in price again. So, but it's nice because, like I said, I'll have some extra room on my Series X so I can put more of these games that I like to purchase. Like I said, the new Terminator 2 2D game is coming out. That's only for Xbox Series X and S. That's only for console. I can't get it in my store and from the store in the store Xbox PC store because they don't sell it for Xbox or PC. They sell it in every other PC storefront and stuff, but not that. And it's like, what a missed opportunity. I don't know. And I know there's people out there that's still going, oh, Xbox is dead, Microsoft is dead. Why would you buy any of this stuff if it's just going to go, get dead and stuff like that? I'm like, they'll still support this stuff. There'll still be a way to play these games. I'm sure of it, even though Microsoft is not like it used to be and it's going back to being shitty and stuff. Actually, it's getting more shitty, and Xbox isn't doing as good, but that's only because their corporate leaders are, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. I don't want to talk too much about it, but we got to because it's in the news. Maybe next podcast, I don't have to talk about anything about Microsoft anymore and just Xbox and stuff. But seriously though, folks, it's hard to not talk about it. I know you hear about it in every podcast, and I know everybody's sick of hearing about Microsoft this, Microsoft that, screwing up Xbox, stuff like that. But it's just how it's been. But in other good news, I got another thing that finally just came in the mail. I got my complete Blu-ray box set collector's edition of Cyberpunk Edge Runners here, as you can see. Look at this bad boy. All nicely packaged up. This is the Blu-ray of the show, of the anime show, of the season 1 of the anime show. That cost me a pretty penny. But a lot of stuff is in this. You got like actual cell art and stuff like that, and a whole bunch of other stuff that has helped create this. And plus, I'll probably rip take this out and rip the Blu-rays to have higher quality video of Cyberpunk Edge Runners for me to watch on my system. Great show, by the way, on Netflix. Very great show. Like I said, cannot wait till season 2 comes out. See what the new characters are going to be like and see if they can bring us more of Cyberpunk Edge Runners, bring us more of this type of series, more of that for season 2. Maybe they won't do a season 3, but it depends on how much people will like season 2. But I think that's not coming out anytime soon, maybe next year or something. But very good show. Very good anime show. And I had to get it. It was like, what did I spend on this? Like $160 or something like that for this Blu-ray box set. You might be thinking, you're crazy. But I am crazy. I'm a collector. I like to collect stuff like this. And, I liked Cyberpunk the game. And I like the anime. The anime is really good. They did an excellent job. And it's worth every penny on all this collectibles that I get from it. So I was happy to get this, and it finally came yesterday, and I was like, woo! Makes me want to watch the show again. But I want to wait till I rip these Blu-rays to get the highest quality of the show. Not that I don't have a high quality copy of the show off of Netflix in general, but I just want it even better. You know what I mean? So, yeah, a couple new things that I got here, gaming-wise. That I want to show you guys, make you guys a little jealous, or not, but it's still fun. And note, only one half of this, like when you guys, this is where I'm going to promote my tip jar again. I do have a Mr. Mike's tip jar on my website at OldFreakyGamer.com, which you can go and you can tip me some money if you feel like the content that I provide you, the videos and podcasts that I provide you is good to your liking. That money goes to stuff like maybe newer Xbox technology or computer technology or whatever like that. Goes back to the website and the podcast to pay for the website and podcast. And a few of you already chipped in a little bit of money, and I thank you for that. For the rest of you, I would hope that you would be willing to, give me a tip if you would like to in my tip jar, Mr. Mike's tip jar, which if you click on the link in my website, or if you go, it's on the main website's main webpage. You got the links on the top that says tip jar, and then it has it on the main page as well that you can click, and it goes to the tip jar. And that's done by Square, which is a very secure online payment processing site where you can just tip me whatever you feel like I'm worth, one-time tip, whatever. I don't think it can do recurring payments. I think it's a one-time thing. Maybe it does do recurring payments. Like I said, I'm not a subscription. I don't feel like doing subscription services or anything like that. But I'm like, hey, if you feel like I'm worth something to you, hey, feel free to tip me, whatever you want. Also on the my YouTube page, if you go to my YouTube page, or YouTube channel, I should say, at youtube.com/OldFreakyGamer-2023. Also in the links section, also has a tip jar above in my links section where it'll say Mr. Mike's tip jar or something. You click on that, it'll bring you to, I guess, my website page or something, or the Square page or something. I think my website page, because I run down for all the stuff you get and stuff, and then it's like, hey, if you want to feel free to tip me, go ahead, click on the button, and then it takes you to the Square account page, and then you can go type in whatever you want for a tip, one-time tip, whatever. And like I said, it all helps. It all goes back into what I do for podcasting, videos, creativity. It's my art. As I like to consider all this as my art, my hobby, my art, my stuff. I put a lot of work. I put a lot of money into stuff. If you feel like it's worth it, hey, tip away. Like I said, a few people already have. Thank you for the nice little donations. And especially in this time, in this world right now where people don't have really good jobs, or they lost their jobs. A lot of people losing their jobs. It's hard times out there for people working and stuff. I'm not expecting you to tip me. You don't have to. I don't do ads either or anything like that, except for the tip jar thing. But, I don't expect anybody to give me any money. But if you do, if you have a little bit of extra cash on hand and you just want to throw me a few shekels, like $5 or whatever, go ahead. I'd highly appreciate it. Or if you find out that something else is more important than money, then feel free not to tip me, because I don't want to take any food out of anybody's mouths or anything like that. It's not what it's like. It's not like I need it, but every bit helps to go right back into my creations here of what I do. And the more that gets put in there, the more I can do even more creatively, you know what I mean? Because everything costs money. And even though I put a lot of the money that I make outside from my real job into this hobby of mine, or like I always like to call it, the forever hobby, because this is going to go on until I'm dead, or unless if YouTube and everything else and the internet goes away, then I got to stop doing this, because it's not like anybody can see it if there's no internet. But otherwise, as long as there's an internet and a YouTube, and I can continue to do podcasts, and I can speak, and I can play games and all that, I'm still going to continue to do all this stuff. So yeah, feel free to tip away, every penny counts. And it all goes to good stuff over here. It just doesn't go to that stuff. And then I always say, hey, if I get enough in the tip jar and I get enough and I can buy stuff, or if I get stuff, like if I get like games or something, if I don't like them or whatever, I want to pass them along to somebody else, you never know. Maybe I'll do giveaways and stuff. Like maybe I'll buy something like extra collector's edition of like this or something with the tip money, and I might do like a contest or a giveaway or something in the future. You never know. I might do that stuff. I always teased on doing that stuff. I did it before. I did it with game codes and movie codes before. In the past, for when I used to do podcasting for other things in the past, I would always give away free movies, movie codes, stuff like that. When I got movies, I always got those movie codes in them and stuff, and I'd give those away to people so you can just get them on your Plays Anywhere movies and stuff. You never know. Maybe I'll give away physical items and stuff this time or whatever, game codes or whatever. You never know. You never know in the future what I can give away, you know. So, yeah, tip me if you feel like I'm worth it. And like I said, for those of you who have already put some money in my tip jar, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Like I said, every dollar counts. And yeah, every dollar counts. So that's enough of me of my internal commercial. Why don't we get into talking some news and stuff? And we get talking in some news. We talk about Microsoft, Azure Cloud bringing everything down, and stuff like that. But actually, before that, why don't we get into this before I get into the games news now? What is my gaming plan for the rest of 2025? That's something I wanted to talk about. I'm just bouncing around here in my outline here. So my plans for the rest of 2025 in gaming is there are still some games coming out. Like I said, there's still that 2D Terminator 2 2D game coming out, I think at the end of this month and of November. I don't know what's coming out in December. I don't know what games are coming out in December or the rest of November. I'm sure there's some. I'm sure I'll eventually find out some new games coming out. Otherwise, next year there's going to be like that Final Fantasy remaster, 7 remasters coming to Xbox and stuff like that. So I will be eventually getting that. And that's also coming out to Xbox for PC and Play Anywhere. So what Square Enix is doing, they're doing that Plays Anywhere thing where they're letting you get it once and you can play it on your Xbox or your PC Plays Anywhere. And I'm very happy about that because I want to play that game on my PC and ROG Ally. So of course I'm going to get that, and I have to pre-order that soon because you pre-order that early, you get the old version of Final Fantasy 7, and then you get like you get it cheaper or something like that. I forget. You get a few dollars off of that or whatnot. But that's for next year. This year, like I said, I got a ton of games to play. I got the Outer Worlds 2 right now. I got Mortal Kombat, the Legacy Collection that I got plenty to watch and play of. I got Diablo 4. I got Powerwash Simulator 2. I got Ninja Gaiden 4. That's 5 games already. I plan on going back to play more of my older games like the Star Wars Outlaws. I want to get back into eventually, play more of that. I want to get back into that game definitely. Especially the Avatar Frontiers of Pandora I want to get back into. But I'm kind of waiting for that update patch that they're supposedly coming out with. I don't know when that's coming out. It's supposed to come out hopefully, I think, soon this year. I don't know exactly when. I got to look that up too. But I think it's supposed to come out this year for that patch where you can be in, third-person mode where you can actually see your character, your Na'vi character. That's when I'm going to continue to play that. And also, talking about a game like that and talking about like Avatar Frontiers of Pandora and stuff like that, that's a Ubisoft game. Talking about Ubisoft games, I got Assassin's Creed Shadows that I want to get back into playing more of and not just trying it out on streaming and stuff like that off my console. I'm going to actually get into playing that. That game I'll probably start playing after I beat like Diablo and a few other games and stuff like that because I know Assassin's Creed Shadows is a very big and long game, so I want to make sure I get through a lot of other back catalog stuff before I play that. Then, I kind of quit trying to play Indiana Jones and the Circle of Truth. Is that what it's called? The Circle of Truth or something? The Indiana Jones game? Circle of Life? Is that what it's called? Circle of Life, Circle of Truth, something circle. I kind of gave up on that for now. I could go back to it. I might go back to it because that was fun. Fun in a way. There was just so many other games above it, and I'm like, eventually I'll get back into this. So eventually I might get back into indie, but it's not something that I am it's on my top of my list of. And then there's a bunch of other games, but basically it's the games that I just told you about: Outer Worlds 2, Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection, Ninja Gaiden 4, Diablo 4, right there, Powerwash Simulator 2. The games that are basically on my main list here, That's 5 games. That's 5 games already, that I got to play and beat. And then, like I said, Assassin's Creed Shadows, Star Wars Outlaws, all that other stuff that I just kind of fell off of or just tried out a little bit and just, whatever. And Avatar, Frontiers of Pandora, like I said, I'm waiting for the update patch for that. When that's all said and done, I got to get through all that stuff. And plus, like I said, Terminator 2, 2D's coming, that game. So that's, more games right there. So a lot of games to be played. So it's not really like I'm begging for more games to come out for December, but I think there are. I just don't know. Isn't that Call of Duty Black Ops 7 coming out November, December? I know people are stoked about that. I haven't beaten Black Ops 6. I still have it. I have it on my Xbox Raw Gallery X because somebody was asking me to play that. I'm like, should I play more story of that or not? I don't know. But that's going to be the rest of my 2025 for gaming and stuff like that. And then other, side stuff and whatever pops up in Game Pass or whatever, I'll try to play and figure out if it's good or not. Stuff like that, Plus, there's tons of other things to do and watch and stuff like that. So that's my plan for gaming for 2025, folks. Now back to, and we might as well do the gaming news now show. So why don't we do that now?
Locked and loaded, ready for the fight. Game talk news, gonna set the stage alight. Mr. Mike's got the scoop, he ain't holding back. Dropping bombs on the gaming industry track. Hear the thunder, feel the roar. Game talk news, gonna settle the score. From E3 to PAX, they got it all. The highs and lows, ready to brawl.
Okay, there we go. And I had to turn on the light a little bit because it's getting a little bit darker outside. But yeah, Games Talk News Now, or Gamez Newz Now, which I had as its own show. And then I did the last episode of it, like, what was it, last week? Because I'm like, I don't have time to be doing extra stuff. And I'm like, I think I was spreading myself too thin, even though people liked watching them. And I like doing it, but now I'm doing it inside the podcast now, and I'm going to continue to do it as this is inside the podcast. And you never know. In the future, maybe I might go back to the Gamez Newz Now. You never know. Maybe I'll go back to this and do more Gamez Newz Now show. Maybe I'll bring the show back or something. Most likely that would have to be if I retire. When I actually retire from my actual job in the future, that's when I'm about 50-ish. I'm thinking maybe a little later, 50, 55. I'm planning on actually retiring. That's my goal anyways. I'm going to be 40 next year in June. So I got 10 more years or 11 more years if you want to consider this year. But I still got like 10 to 11 years left in me before I do that. So hopefully I'll make some money and get enough money in time and nothing happens along the way with me or anything that I can actually retire at 50 or 55. If I do it at 55, then that's 15 years, but we'll see. That's my goal. My goal is get the rest of the house paid off, make sure everything else is good, paid off, get any renovations I got to do good and stuff, and then just keep banking the money, keep banking that money, put it in savings, do stuff, invest. Maybe I'll do something. Maybe I'll even do a Patreon for eventually for my thing, and I'll turn this into its own business thing, and I won't do tip jars anymore in the future. If Patreon's still a thing in the future, we'll see. But yeah, who knows? I don't know. But as of right now, the games news that is. So last week, the week before, Amazon AWS went down for their cloud, and then Microsoft just had to show them up. Microsoft's like, we can do it better, Amazon. We can get our cloud knocked down a lot better than yours. So guess what happened last week? That a major Microsoft outage takes down Office 365, Xbox, and cloud services worldwide. And for a company that says that, and it's not like any online network is perfect. Everybody has issues and stuff. Unfortunately, though, we've been hearing a lot more issues with Microsoft and with the Azure cloud from Microsoft and AWS lately, with DNS stuff going down or people internally screwing up stuff inside, this was a human error or whatever, and it takes down like the whole system, the whole network, the whole cloud system, all the servers go down. It is a big thing. It is a big thing. And for companies like Microsoft and Amazon that are touting that they have the best, back-end servers and cloud and all that most of Microsoft stuff, services are now cloud-based and stuff on the Azure cloud network and stuff, especially for if you want to do gaming or gaming online and stuff like that. For us, Minecraft they were talking about was down as well because that's on the Azure cloud. If I wanted to go and play some Minecraft, which I got something to do with that too today as well. But if I wanted to play some Minecraft over the week, I wouldn't have been able to do it for part of the week because it would have failed. It would have went down. So this was 3 days ago. So I'm recording this on Sunday. So Sunday, Saturday to Friday, Friday to Thursday. So it was like Wednesday to Thursday. That was when it happened, I guess. And according, I guess this whole outage was tied to Azure's front door service, the service that directs user traffic across Microsoft's global edge network. Weird that stuff like this happens, and this is all human error behind the scenes mostly. Like that DNS thing was a human error where they did something with the DNS and they fucked it up. And that's stuff you got to be very careful of. Anything that has to do with DNS or front doors and stuff in this, and I know a lot of you probably aren't tech-centric out there, but let's just say you change a little bit of a line of code in these server systems, or you redirect to a different number in the system, that can bring everything down. Trust me. Doing my home cloud stuff and doing my own mesh network and all that stuff, and I'm doing all my own DNSs over here and routing and stuff. I fuck one thing up in my network, shit goes wrong, people. Shit goes wrong. I got a switch that don't work. This don't work. I have to go through each and every device and stuff, my personal cloud and all that. Whew. That gets crazy. When the internet doesn't work, this don't work, that don't work, and I have to reboot everything at once. I know how it is with human error or an update that doesn't work or take or something. But these are big, giant corporate conglomerates here we're talking about that are based on the clouds and stuff, and that people depend upon these cloud networks to be up and running 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. People using Office, stuff like that. And for us gamers, we want a game anytime, 365 days a year. But when Xbox Live is down, or this is down, or that is down, and we can't play our games, that's a problem, especially if Microsoft is pushing more towards that cloud-based gaming. They've been pushing the cloud-based gaming part of their service more, network play, stuff like that. People aren't going to be too happy when they can't do that stuff because the servers are down or the system is down. That's a problem. But slowly and surely they were getting things up. Like, it did affect me when I was trying to remote play from my console to my Xbox Series, my Xbox ROG Ally X over here, and my PC, because it's like, no, sorry, you can't, no remote play or cloud play. And I'm like, well, that sucks. So I had to just do my game capture through my PC to my Xbox to play my Xbox game on my PC here that way, because I knew that would work, because that's not going through any internet. That's just going through my own network, basically through HDMI to my capture card that passes through to my TV over here on my desk, on my monitor here. So that's a way around this stuff, I guess. So yeah, it was a little bit of a hassle. But like I said, I was still able to play games. I was still able to do a lot of stuff. It was just not working well at all. Nothing was working. Their website was down. Everything else was down on the Microsoft's cloud and stuff. And it was just really bad times. You know, I was trying to do stuff on the app. The app wasn't working. The app was down and stuff. The Xbox app. Bing was kind of down. You know, it wasn't working well. Yeah, it took down a lot. One little thing takes down a whole lot of stuff. And that makes some serious notes. And that's when a lot of people question, what this whole cloud thing. It's so bad. It could be taken down in an instant. This is not good. Not good. When people want things up and running all the time. You know what they should mandate? You know what our government should mandate? If these cloud services, if it's Azure or AWS or Google Cloud or any of these services go down and you're paying for some of that stuff in any of these situations, they should just automatically, depending on how much time you're losing out of these, they should just automatically give you credit back for your monthly payments. Like I should get like a day of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate back, and Minecraft, a day of Minecraft Online back and stuff. They should do that. They don't do that unless if you call and complain to them, then they offer you like a free month of extra this or that or something like that. But otherwise, if you're not calling and complaining on that stuff, then it's like they just go on with business as usual and they don't do that. It should be a mandate. If our country had a good system and we had a good government, well, we got no government right now, but that's okay. But if we had a decent government, running government, and everybody wasn't against each other, we didn't have the Democrats versus the Republicans, and everybody somewhat got along together, and it doesn't matter who's on top of the system or whatnot. You can say Trump, this and that, all you want, but if everybody worked together as a group instead of against each other in this country, maybe things might happen better. I don't know. Same thing in companies and corporations. But, everybody's against each other. So, this shit's going to keep happening. Why not? And then, they had their whole, I think, shareholder meeting and stuff like that. And I was almost going to say Phil Spencer, but it was Satya Nadella was on stage talking about, as he was not very good talking about Microsoft's ambitious new Xbox, your entire Xbox console library, and the power of Windows PC gaming, and stating that there's not going to be no multiplayer paywall when these future systems come out, where it's going to be a console PC hybrid and stuff. And we talked about this many times. I think it's a step in the right direction. I know it's not something people are going to like, especially if they're talking about premium consoles and premium gaming experiences, meaning premium pricing. It's not going to be cheap, because here's the thing, folks. What you can say, and you can say, you can have all the hate you want for Microsoft and Xbox right now, but think about it. Here's the thing. Here's the situation that nobody ever wants to really mention. A few people have mentioned it, kind of. But here's the situation going forward. If Microsoft stops selling Xbox consoles and Xbox just becomes a whole multi-platform just gaming division, if they even survive whatever Microsoft's AI bullshit bubble doesn't burst, or if it bursts, it doesn't kill off half the company or whatnot, and a whole bunch of things and stuff inside that company. If they continue to go and try to go the course, and they continue to try to make games and do something with Xbox Play Anywhere and all this other stuff, and they just become a non-console company, PlayStation's going to go up. They're already been going up, but they're going to really go up in hardware costs and pricing. They're going to charge you up to $1,000 for a new console. Nintendo, Switch 2. Rumors have it that that's going to be going up again. So think about $600 or something for a Switch 2 going forward. I'm guessing you're not going to like that. I'm guessing people aren't going to like that pricing. Think about, like I said, Xbox goes away. You only got 2 players in the market, mainly one for most of the mainstream stuff, unless if you count, like I said, Steam and PC and stuff, which that's what Microsoft's trying to do going forward as their next approach to gaming, even though Xbox or Microsoft corporate is trying to fuck them over on top of that. But the whole thing is going forward, this PC Xbox hybrid, being able to play console games and PC games and bringing all that stuff together is an interesting idea. That is something that I like and that I'm interested in. Not that I'm interested in buying a new console anytime soon, even if it is 2 years down the road or something like that. I don't think I'm going to be buying a new console, especially if I could just play all these games on my PC or Xbox Rogue Ally or something down the road. I'd rather just do that and not have to worry about my Xbox Next or Series X or whatever down the road. I could just play all this stuff freely, especially if they were talking about, and they are, that internally they didn't report, they did mention that they are trying to maybe start working on Xbox backwards compatibility, or should I say trying to get Xbox games to work on PC through emulation or some sort and stuff like that. If they can do that, if they can get Xbox titles to digital titles, I should say, not the disc-based ones, I'm talking about digital titles, to work to be able to be played on a PC or Xbox ROG Ally X or whatever, then they're going to have something there. Then they're going to have something really big there. Now, I also know that a lot of people do not like gaming in Windows because there's so much to it and there's so much to set up and do and updates and this and that, and they just want a simple console experience, which consoles are semi going away from. But, eventually people are going to have to do better with that, or Microsoft in general has got to do better with their software and hardware initiative, where they're like, okay, all these updates are going to come under one roof, under one thing here, and they're going to get pushed out to your Xbox PC or whatever, something like that, and then you don't have to worry about tons of separate updates and all that. It's all easy and stuff like that. It's going to be a lot of work, especially like a lot of people were saying, oh, my Xbox ROG Ally X, I have to update it from this and that and that. You do got to update it from 3 things on that Xbox ROG Ally X or Xbox ROG Ally or the ROG Ally in general. There's 3 things you got to do. You got to update Windows, whatever storefront, so the Xbox storefront, whatever, blah, 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 blah. And then you got to update, well, actually, if you consider that, then 4 things. So Xbox, so Windows, Xbox, Armory Crate, if you use Armory Crate, and Asus, the Asus app, because that also has updates to it and drivers and stuff like that. So that's like 4 things you got to check behind the scenes to make sure everything's running good and stuff. I should actually check, because I don't even know, there could be some updates for the Outer Worlds 2 or something for it to be played on this thing, and I don't know because I didn't check for those updates yet, but maybe there's a driver update or something. Maybe I should check that out, but otherwise it's been running smoothly. But you got to check a lot of things just to get your updates, to get your gaming on, and a lot of people aren't like that. A lot of people don't like to do that. Now, I always say that people should start learning how to use computers better and how to use technology better, because we are in a technology type of world right now, and a lot of people are just like, no, I just want something simple. I just want a game on my phone or this or that. And sure, that's why Microsoft has that Xbox Cloud Play, which could be more valuable in the future if you can bring all your titles, all your digital titles, and they can be played via the cloud or like on the server or a PC or something, and you can play it in the cloud or something. That could help a lot. But also, you got to understand that technology is going to go even if it goes past you. And like I said, we use computers at work all the time. You use technology all the time. You might not like it all the time, but that's what we use. Me, I'm a different outlier on this stuff. I've been using computers and technology for a while. I like it. I like using that stuff. I've been happy with that stuff. So it's all good for me. And the whole, as they're talking and setting into Dallas, dropping the hint that the next Xbox is basically a PC, which we've been hearing in rumors all the time. The console/PC is going to be the same thing going forward down the road because, first off, he talks about Windows is their business. Of course, they want Windows and all their stuff. They want Windows software and everything. They want the ecosystem in there. But also when they talk about in the future that they also talk about stuff in the future like then you don't have to pay to play online anymore. That seems like a good thing, but you're still going to need Xbox Game Pass Ultimate or something to play that stuff. And then you talk about stuff like, then they're talking about stuff, well, imagine if you have your Xbox gaming PC console hybrid, then you can use, a mouse and a keyboard for games like World of Warcraft and stuff like that, or Steam and PlayStation games, because they're talking about a lot of stuff that our console going forward, you'll be able to play PlayStation games on that. Well, as long as PlayStation ports their games and puts them on Steam, that is. I'm still waiting for Astrobot. But also, is it, are people going to accept that? A lot of people don't want to accept that because people don't want to accept anything that is Microsoft nowadays. And I fully understand because they've basically rip-shitted through the whole thing because behind the scenes they talked about that whole, Xbox division's got to bring in, what was it, 30% or something or whatever that they were touting. And then all those layoffs and games cancellations and closures and stuff. That's all because over Xbox, over Phil Spencer, Sarah Bond, all because of the CEO and CFO, Amy Hood, which is the CFO of Microsoft, the money management person. They felt like we need more money in this company. And even though they are a $4 trillion company, well, are they still a $4 trillion? I don't know. They're between $3 to $4 trillion company. You would think they don't need that much money, but because of corporate greed, shareholder greed, and the whole AI initiative, that's where all that money needs to be going because they're spending so much money on that stupid AI bubble. And if it bursts, that's going to hurt the whole company drastically, even though they can make money from Windows, Office, the Xbox division if they don't almost kill it already, Office 365 of course, and Azure Cloud and stuff. They got all this stuff, but as long as they're hurting their other parts of the businesses, and then they're thinking, or Amy Hood is thinking, I can get more money from this Xbox division and try to get Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond and them to get me more money from that division because it's Xbox, it's gaming. People pay a lot for video games, and she's like thinking, la 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 la, they'll make us some more money to pay for all our bullshit that we're doing behind the scenes and not really putting it back into the main business that is Xbox. That's going to hurt. That's going to hurt. And it's bad. And people that are laughing and behind the scenes and people are saying, Xbox is dead. Xbox is dead. Well, Xbox isn't dead. They're not going to die. They're going to be evolved. Like I said, they're evolving into something more than just a box. Xbox is just a brand now. That's what I think it is right now. It's a brand. I don't care if they are coming off a new box or anything. They're strictly making it more so a brand where it's just a brand of games and stuff. And they're basically a gaming publishing division of Microsoft. That's just going to be them making games, which hopefully they will do, and they will hopefully do decent of. I don't know, a lot of people aren't liking the new Halo, not Combat Evolved, Halo, what's it called? Halo, man, I forgot the whole name of it. Halo, man, my brain goes really dead when I do this. That's right, I've just thought of it right when I paused, because sometimes I like to pause to make my thoughts or try to look for, it's Halo Campaign Evolved. A lot of people aren't liking where that's heading with the Unreal Engine and all that. They're not liking all the stuff and all that. I'm going to give it a chance because I do like Halo Combat Evolved. And for them to remake it from the ground up in the Unreal Engine, I'm mostly looking forward to the extra 3 missions or something that they said they're going to put into this game. I'm really looking forward to that part of the game. And then I'll play the rest of it, of course. But going forward, are they going to make new Halo games? Or are they just going to remaster everything and remake everything? That'd be sad if there'd just been tons of remakes and remasters through everything and nothing new comes out. But let's hope that's not the case. Because I know they want to repolish everything, remake from the ground up, so they can put it out on PlayStation and PC and all this other stuff. But we need to make some original content. We got to make some new stuff. I want to continue the fight. I want to finish the fight for real with Halo. Let's get back to Cortana. Let's finish all that stuff. And then you can reboot the whole series or do something different. Why not? Why can't they do that? For Gears of War, I know they're doing a prequel game to that, but I really want them to get back to the main game and go past Gears 5 and finish that off. Do one more game, finish that off, and then restart the whole Gears franchise new with something completely different. New world, new whatever, new Marcus Phoenix, whoever could be the new Marcus Phoenix. They can do that. But people don't want to because people are scared and, making games is scary and stuff. But look at all the people that make all these games and put them on Steam and that they don't sell. That's thousands of games that don't get sold on Steam that they say don't even make the $100 that it costs to put the game on Steam and stuff like that. People are talking about that stuff. And I'm like, a lot of games out there, folks. A lot of games for people's gaming dollars. But, like they were saying, still at Xbox and Microsoft, Nadella and them are saying, hey, this console PC hybrid, they've been going hard with talking about, the next generation Xbox will play PlayStation games like God of War and Spider-Man because it's a console PC hybrid that runs Steam and stuff. But my old notion on this also says, as I talked about this many times before, if they're talking about Steam, this, Steam, that, and talking about, you can get these games on Steam and this on Steam and that on Steam, it's like, how you guys making money? Steam ain't giving you guys money, I don't think, for their store to be on your console PC hybrid. They're still making money as usual. You're just allowing people to buy your box to play these games off of Steam and Epic Store and everything else because you don't want a walled garden anymore, which also could be also them doing this ahead of time because, in the EU and stuff for Apple and Google and stuff, they said you got to open up your storefronts. So I wonder if that will eventually head over to gaming consoles as well because those are closed, paywalled storefronts. You got the PlayStation Store, you got Xbox Now, where it's a closed off storefront and stuff. You got, of course, Nintendo, which is closed off. I wonder if in the near future, the EU and people will start going after these gaming divisions and say, hey, you got to open up that storefront. And then Sony and Nintendo will definitely be fighting against that shit. Microsoft is already ahead of the game. They're like, we already opened up the Xbox storefront. See, we opened up our Xbox and PC. People can play their games from anywhere, get their games anywhere. They can go to Steam, this, that. They can play them all on our Xbox. We're good. And then Sony and Nintendo will be fighting for every claw, tooth, and nail with their high-priced lawyers going, nah, these are our ecosystems. We can't do that. But imagine if they open up too. They have to open up, and they got to let PC games and all that in their storefronts. Will the whole storefront thing just be like, oh, will it all get so open that it's like, well, we all got our stores, so now it's got to be dependent on the games that we make ourselves and provide for our consoles and stuff like that, because now that we got to open everything up, we got to make sure our games are good for our consoles. We got to make sure these work well so people come to our storefront to buy our games and stuff and not just go anywhere for anything. You know what I mean? It's going to be a weird, muddy road ahead for that stuff. And like I said, if Xbox does achieve becoming just a game mega publisher and they get their storefront of maybe ready for prime time for the next generation so we can play our Xbox console-based games on a PC or whatnot, I think that would show some progress on their part. Even though there's still a lot of bad behind the scenes and we're still getting all this bullshit coming from them and the higher prices and all that stuff. Remember, eventually you're going to see that with Sony and Nintendo, and their prices are going to go up, especially for their current and next gen consoles. I know I also read on, I think it was X or BlueSky. I think it was X. Somebody was saying, oh yeah, Sony's saying that their next PlayStation console is going to be $600 and their handheld hybrid is going to be $500 and their whatever ultimate thing is going to be $1,000 or so. Oh no, they said the Xbox Ultimate PC gaming hybrid is going to be like $1,000. And I'm like thinking, yeah, that's probably it. But here's also the other thing. Is that actually going to be true? Or is Sony going to have their consoles go up to like $700-800 and their handheld is going to be $600? Because they're talking about, oh, these are going to be super powerful machines and that these are going to be a lot more powerful than the PlayStation 5s and stuff, and this handheld's supposed to run PS5 games on it and stuff. And I'm like, that's going to take a lot of power, a lot of processing power. You're going to be easily charging way more than what you're talking about. You're not going to be seeing a $400 or $500 handheld or a console unit from Sony. You're going to be seeing same pricing as Microsoft, basically, or at least close to it. And then Microsoft just saying, hey, we're going to come out with one console PC hybrid. It's going to be $1,000. It's going to have tons of power to it, more power than you're going to ever need for a very long time, maybe even more than 10 years. Maybe this will be their only console that they put out for like the next 10, 12 years. And then they might do update renditions or something, but they'll say, hey, this is going to be a machine, even though it's expensive, it is going to be a premium. You're only going to have to buy this sucker for once for a very long time because it's going to have the best GPU, the best CPU in there. You can have as much memory as you want with M.2 drives. You can even pop in one of these expansion drives. Hopefully they'll keep these going forward so you can use these backwards compatible devices as well. You can hook one of these terabyte expansion drives to it. And then, sure, it's going to be $1,000. It's going to be expensive, but you're going to have this super great interface. It's going to be seamless across the Xbox storefront, the Steam storefront, everybody else's storefront. You're going to be able to play all these games right there on this console or your handheld, and you don't have to worry. You can play from the cloud. You can digitally play them, download them. This is going to be the best device ever, and it's going to last. This is what I would say. This is going to last you a very long time. No more of us trying to give you a new console every 5 years or something. This is going to be so powerful that when game makers make games, they'll be able to make games for this system for a long time. And then you'll buy the games. Hopefully you'll buy them from us, from our store and stuff. But if not, that's okay too. But you get a choice. We're going to give you choice. Sure, this is going to be a premium machine, but it's going to give you a premium experience. You're going to do 4K, 240 frames per second, 240 hertz, I should say, which is frames. I said 4K, all that stuff. It's going to have full ray tracing and all that stuff that we promised, which we didn't deliver before. And sure, it's going to be $1,000 box, but shit, it's going to be a nice, small, quiet, clean box. You can use all your controllers and peripherals for it. There you go. Oh, and then if you do want a disk drive for all those backwards compatibility games and stuff like that, we'll provide an external or drive where you can plug into it or pop onto it or something that you can play all your games from all your past consoles. But going forward, it's all digital, so you don't have to worry about it. But from the past, you can pop in your discs and stuff. They should do something like that. If they did that, they'd be great. Are they going to do that? We'll have to wait and see in a year or two. But I'm sick of talking about that stuff. I'm sick of talking about the bad, the expensive, because here's the thing, everything's expensive. And especially nowadays when everything's expensive and everything's going up and people are losing jobs and stuff, everything is bad for people. Like I said, I'm lucky of what I do and what I can make some money. I make some money. I get to do this and play some games and stuff. Like I said, some people have been helping me out with my tip jar and providing me a little bit of money my way. So a little bit of money came my way through my Mr. Mike's tip jar, which thank you again, which you can go to my website or my my YouTube page for if you want to do that, chip in. That's great. So I got 2 more news stories. One, if you like it or not, but TCG Card Shop Simulator. I don't know if you ever heard of it. I got it. I played it. I think I did a Let's Play of it. I should do another Let's Play of it, or I should do a stream, a GameOn stream of it. That might be something for the future as well. And it's not going to be this Friday. This upcoming Friday I got for my GameOn session is going to be the Outer Worlds 2. I'm going to play some Outer Worlds 2 in my GameOn session, I think, this upcoming Friday for this week. But maybe the following week or something, maybe I should play some TCG Card Shop Simulator again because I had a lot of fun with that. I want to play it some more. But it's also coming to eventually to Xbox Game Pass. And for Xbox PC, and Xbox Play Anywhere in 2026. So, yeah, just like how Supermarket Simulator came out this year, next year in Q1 of 2026, we're going to get TCG Card Shop Simulator, which is another fun game, which I already own on Steam, but hey, if it's coming out on Game Pass, I don't have to buy it again. I could just play it and have some fun. It's a really fun game. It's like owning your own real card shop. You can get your own Pokemon, whatever cards and whatever, unwrap them, sell them, all that stuff. I played a bit of it, but I'm going to play more. I got to play more of that. That's another thing. Like I said, I might do it on my next GameOn show if nothing goes on for next week. But like I said, this is coming out Q1 of 2026. If anybody's interested in it, I thought this was a good news story to put out there. I was really not surprised because, like I said, a lot of these games from Steam and stuff are now coming to the Xbox side, to Game Pass and stuff like that. And just like, Supermarket Simulator, this is one of those games, which I got to get back into playing more Supermarket Simulator because that's been fun too. That's always been fun. And what's not fun, the Sims creators quit EA partnerships amid buyout concerns. So content creators specializing in the Sims 4 content are leaving EA's creator network in protest after EA confirmed it is being acquired by investor group composed of the Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund, or PIF, and Silver Lake, and the Jared Kushner's Affinity Partners, which the transaction announced at the end of last month was valued at approximately $55 billion, and the largest all-cash sponsor take private investment in history, which they're also going to take a lot of debt on to EA. So I guess a lot of streamers and people that made a lot of DLC and content for like The Sims and Sims 4 and stuff are leaving the EA Creative Network in protest. Because they don't believe in this sale and this stuff like that and taking it private with Saudi Arabia and stuff, which I understand. This is going to change everything in the company, and who knows, I bet you EA might go under after all this stuff because, when people get bought out like this, they always get stripped for parts eventually. They try to make it happen, but once you have so much debt onto your company, it just makes everything worse, and then usually people can't pay back the debt. Look at Toys R Us. That's what happened to Toys R Us, and then they went. So EA could be the next Toys R Us down the road, and that's pretty sad. That's pretty sad going forward. Not that EA has made too many new things. Like, they didn't make any new Command & Conquers. They did the remaster version of it, at least. They didn't do any real new Sims. They just continued to do the Sims 4, and that was it. They don't make any new real games except for Battlefield and stuff like that. They never went back to, like, the Burnout series. They never did well on anything else. They never really had too much besides their sports games and stuff that, like Madden and soccer and stuff, that they really made a difference or money in and stuff. But I guess all these people that made DLC packs and stuff for The Sims 4 and were doing all this stuff underneath this stuff and making money, I guess, and they're big. I guess these are big streamers on YouTube. They don't like it. They're like, due to the recent sale, I've asked to leave EA Creators Network, and I will not buy or make content around any future releases. I think taking this stand is the right choice for me personally. I am not going to judge anybody on their decision. I am a privileged position to be able to say what I'm leaving as easily. I hope that the sale falls through, and if it doesn't, I hope that those that stay put pressure on EA to maintain the level of inclusiveness that The Sims has always been about. Let's see here. And EA came back with a statement stating that the company insists that we deeply respect that everyone experiences The Sims in their own way and will make choices that are right for them. However you choose to play, create, or share, we gratefully be part of your journey. Our mission, values, and commitment remain the same. The Sims will always be a space where you can express your authentic self. Yep. And then they talk about how PIF, or the Saudi Arabia investment group, became the largest Nintendo shareholders of 5.01%. And stuff like that. It's a lot of downsizing in the industry. Another reason why there's not only just less games in the industry, but there's less game like publishers and stuff. And, there's going to be less of everything. People got to, and it's hard for gamers to understand because a lot of gamers out there do not look into the gaming industry and look out there. They listen to people like me and listen to others that talk about this stuff. And a lot of people can't understand what's changing with EA? What's going on? A lot of people don't understand. They think it's the same EA, the same company. But once it gets bought out by somebody else and they don't do a good job of keeping everything as the status quo, or they change everything, or if Microsoft buys up Activision Blizzard and then they fire a bunch of people and then they tank a lot of other companies and other stuff inside and they become somewhat bad stewards of stuff going forward. Or you got Warner Brothers are they still called Warner Brothers Discovery or something, and then they got Warner Brothers Games, and then they're fucking them over, and they're like, oh, we're only making these, but yet on the side, we're still trying to sell everything off because we're not doing a good job making money over here at Warner Brothers Discovery because we got a stupid CEO and people on the top, like all these corporations, and then you got EA that's being sold to that company, and then you got another company being sold to that. It's all downsizing. Like, somebody else is going to eventually maybe buy Warner Brothers or Warner Brothers Games and stuff like that. Will it be Warner Brothers Games anymore? Will NetherRealm Studios be sold off? Some people said, we're joking that Microsoft might buy them. I'm like, even though Microsoft and Xbox are in a bad position right now, really bad, and people really don't like Microsoft and Xbox, and everybody thinks they're going to go under, who else would do that? Sony would. Look at what happened to Bungie. Even though Bungie was on the rocky cliffs anyways, but Bungie's going to be no more eventually pretty soon from Sony. They're being absorbed into the Sony culture over there because they're not doing so hot. Nintendo, they'll never buy them. I'm thinking the only other people are 2K, which they got their own stuff. And I don't know, they could buy NetherRealm. You got the Embracer Group, which they're not buying anybody else anytime soon. So Microsoft, Xbox would be the only people that would have actual money to purchase like NetherRealm or all of Warner Brothers and Warner Brothers games and all the franchises and stuff, which I don't know if regulators would let it happen, but maybe nowadays they would. But, you know, where else would that stuff go? Take-Two, like I said, would Take-Two do that? They could, but would they do that? I don't know. Maybe they would buy most of the Warner Brothers Studios properties and stuff like that, especially if the licenses came along with it. There's stuff like NetherRealm with all the Mortal Kombat stuff and all that, and I don't know. That'd be some big news there. Then you got to think about, because I'm done with the news now, so I'm just talking my shit now. Then we got to think about the future. And I'm not talking about just regular here. Like I said, things are going to go up if Microsoft Xbox doesn't create more consoles in the future, and this next hybrid console doesn't work or whatever, you know, for people, and the prices go up, and Sony, and it's just Sony and Nintendo, what's going to happen in the future? Then you're going to also think about, which I hate bringing into people's minds, what about all these other places like Valve? Steam? Gabe Newell and his partners? How about if Gabe Newell passes away, dies, whatever? He could keel over any second. He never looks that healthy. He's still, excuse me, I don't want to be shameful, but he is, you know, kind of unhealthy looking. You know, he's a little bit heavy set. He's old. He's getting up there. How many years does he's got on him? And if he goes, what happens when his partners go or change? Would they sell off the company? Would they take the company public? What would happen to Valve and Steam going forward after Gabe Newell goes away? Would it still be the same values and stuff? Would Steam still be Steam going forward, or would some things change? Same with every company. You got to think. That's the problem with me. I think about every company, not just one company. I think about all the companies. The gaming industry in the markets has been, especially now with tariffs and high prices and the cost of making stuff, and people not really buying that many games nowadays, and they're just buying one or two because everything's either $70+ or microtransactions, or people just like the games that they play and they just play the same thing all the time. I hate to make it all a bummer at the end here of this podcast, but times will change. The industry will shrink and downsize. Look at Hollywood. That has shrunk and downsized. Look, how many films have been coming out every year that are actually good? Like, the only film I can think of coming up soon that I'm going to go see that's going to be actually decent to see is probably Avatar, Fire, Ice, and what is it? Fire and Ice? No, Fire. Is it Avatar, the Way of Fire or something like that? Something like that. I forgot what it was called. Fire something. I forgot the rest of the name of that. It's a lot of fire. Let's just say that. That's probably the only movie that I'm interested in. You know, I saw a few movies before. I saw the Mission Impossible, the How to Train Your Dragon live remake, the Lilo and Stitch movie, which was okay, but weird on how they created it. But otherwise, there was nothing really new out there. There was nothing really exciting coming from anybody else. You know? Movies. Sure, we're lucky still to get some shows that are still decent out there, but there's no big things. Everything that's been big has been downsized, or if you do get stuff that's going to be big, I think in the future, when you do get a big game or media or something, it's going to be like one thing, and then you're going to have to wait, and then it's going to be another big thing, and then you'll get a lot of little stuff. That's what I'm thinking how the gaming industry is going to go eventually, because not everybody's going to be buying expensive games going forward or subscription services and all that stuff. I think when everything gets downsized and all that, we're going to see like one big game here that everybody's going to be interested in. Then you got your Grand Theft Auto, which is a big game, and then you got another big game this month or something or the next month, and then you get a lot of little stuff. that people can try and whatnot. And if people don't want to play that stuff, then people are going to keep making stuff. And then, I hate to say it, that's how the gaming industry is looking now. Oh, what a way to bum out the rest of the podcast. Well, I'm going to go enjoy myself with some gaming while I still can, while I'm still on this planet. Like I said, I hope you enjoyed this podcast. I hope you enjoyed everything up to the bummer point at the end. Hopefully the next podcast is more uplifting. I'll try not to talk too much about Microsoft and Xbox, unless if there's more Xbox Microsoft news coming out. Then we got to talk about it. But yeah, so podcast is out this Monday, this Wednesday. Be on the lookout for a new Let's Play, which I'm going to do more I almost said The Last of Us, The Wolf Among Us, which is, if you think about it, the way it sounds, it's almost The Last of Us. No, I'm going to do, I think it's episode 3 of The Wolf Among Us. I'm going to play the next episode of that, which is going to come out as a Let's Play on Wednesday. And then Friday is going to be me streaming the Outer Worlds 2. I'm going to play some Outer Worlds 2 on a stream that day, because why not? We'll do some Outer Worlds streaming that day. That'll be a good Friday to do that. And that's pretty much going to be it for that week. That, not too many things coming out, unless it's something weird pops up that week and I do a Let's Play or a GameOn or something. But hopefully it's just going to be a nice, easy week, and I could just do something on for Wednesday, something for Friday, and there we go. Like I said, again, if you feel like you enjoyed this podcast or you enjoy any of my content, like I said, I got the Mr. Mike's tip jar on my website at OldFreakyGamer.com. If you want to go tip me a little something, a little bit of cha-ching, cha-ching, bling, bling. Or if you're watching this on my YouTube channel at youtube.com/OldFreakyGamer-2023, I got a link up there that takes you directly to the Mr. Mike's tip jar. And like I said, you can generously tip me whatever you feel like. If you have the money, if you don't, do not threat. You do not have to tip me anything. I will not require it. So until next time, folks, I think it's time for me to call it quits for this show. I hope you enjoyed it. So everybody, until next time, I'm Mr. Mike. This has been the GamezAttack podcast, which goes up each and every Monday afternoon-ish. Game on, game hard, world conquest. I'm Mr. Mike, and this podcast is now game over.
Pixels flicker neon bright, old freaky gamer plays all night. Joystick in one hand, fries in the other. He's the king of one more level, brother. Press start, he's in the zone. His throne's a squeaky chair alone. Old freaky gamer, he's got the knack. Blasting through the game's attack. Level up and don't look back. Old freaky gamer on the track.
Game over.